Welcome back to Draw Them All. My name is Elliot, and I am drawing every Pokemon in an effort to get better at drawing. If you are interested in following along on that journey, there is a link to the Instagram page in the description below. Today I want to talk about the 3 states we go through when we pursue something that takes many days to complete, something that we're practicing on, something that we're dedicated to, something that we're committed and we're putting in the hours towards. Drawing Pokemons have become my analogy for long journey and patience. I am barely halfway done, and there's so many more to come. On the flip side, I have so much more to improve. And even though it's step by step by step, and when you look back a few steps, you don't notice a big difference. But if I was to compare my illustrations today with the stuff I was doing this time last year, the difference is quite dramatic. And I can only imagine what I will be creating this time next year. So that is kind of the motivation that keeps me going. But like I mentioned, the day-to-day, it is hard to see those improvements. It really does feel like a grind. And that is what brings me to the 3 states that we go through when we create something that takes many, many days. You are going to have some good days. You're going to have some days that are completely forgettable and you just kind of punch the clock and you make it happen. And then there's days that you just get really frustrated, that are really hard, and you just have to really push yourself to get through, regardless of what those challenges are. I read the book Bravey by Uxie Papa. She's an Olympic runner, and she has a quote that I'm kind of drawing the whole inspiration of this video from, and it goes like this: when you're chasing a big goal, you're supposed to feel good a third of the time, okay a third of the time, and crappy a third of the time. And if the ratio is roughly in that range, then you're doing fine. Her theory is that on the good days, you grow your confidence, and on the crappy days, you grow your patience, courage, and resilience to commit to what you're doing and stay on, as she says. Now watch me bring it back to Pokemon. The thing about Pokemon is that some are more challenging than others. There are days where I have to draw this super detailed legendary Pokemon, and then there's other days where I have to just draw this circle with eyes. I find that when I'm drawing something super difficult, that really challenges me, and it does feel very frustrating at times because of all the detail. It takes so much longer, and it's so hard to just get it to look right. Then other days I have to just draw this circle with eyes, and I'm allowed to experiment a little bit more. I'm allowed to try to add some grain to it, or do different things, add some shading, or learn a new technique. And those days I can attempt to grow my confidence, while the other days where I have to draw the super detailed one, I grow my patience and I try to get through it. And then there's days where I just need to get it done and just feel good that I even showed up. This rule of third can be applied to anything, not just running or drawing Pokemon. Whether you're trying to build a relationship or you're trying to just get better at your job, really try to recognize yourself when you're in these states and reflect on whether you're in a certain state for too long. Because if you start feeling very bored of what you're doing, maybe it's time to challenge yourself so that you could feel frustrated for a bit, but eventually you'll feel very good once you improve. Or when you're feeling really good about yourself all the time and you become the god of the office and everybody's bowing to you, maybe it's time to change it up and challenge yourself and do something a little bit different and see if you could get yourself frustrated again and have some of those crappy days, because growth requires a balance. It requires good and bad, and maybe just a few days where it's neutral. And I kind of like that, and that is how I'm seeing this Pokemon journey in different states that I go to. There's definitely some days where I sit down and I may end up making something that I'm really proud of, And there's definitely some days I sit down and I just, I feel a lot of hesitation when I push the publish button because I know I'm not completely proud of it. And if I had another hour, I could probably fix it and make it look really, really good. There you have it. I'm definitely trying to recognize the states that I go through during this process as I learn different techniques, different styles, different methods of creating this illustration. And there's still a long way to go. I've accepted that this is going to be a multi-year project, so I'm focused more on deliberate practice. I'm trying to cut out the days where I just feel like I'm just trying to punch in and get by, and find more days where I'm frustrated or feeling confident in myself. I want to learn new techniques, apply them in my drawing, and then I want to see myself achieve them. If it means I can't do it on consecutive days because I am spending more time on it or spending time to learn a new way of doing something, but that's okay, because when I sit down to tackle this illustration, I want to feel challenged, because I want to, in a year from now, look back and say, man, I've come much further along. Thank you for checking in with me. My name is Elliot. I make videos about writing and the creative process. If that interests you, please subscribe.